That was a really great CrossFit Games weekend.
She is the greatest. We have ever seen come through this sport. Tia-Clair Toomey.
10 toes down on my ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. 10 toes down on my ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. Anything I do for the gang. Took those L's and I took that blame. All money.
Gotta beat this guy right here. That's how I feel. Yeah, he's fast.
Good day, don't need 3 whips, don't need no.
Next one. Love you, man.
About to head over to the arena for the final day of the CrossFit Games. It feels so fast this year, and it was a little faster than usual. We have such a race on the men's side. Things can change up so much depending on how people perform in these events. Women's side is starting to look a little more clear, but the race for maybe second, definitely third, is still on. One more thing, if you're not subscribed, here's your call to do so. I will have CrossFit content all year, even during the off season, so hit that button, join in on the fun. Final day of the CrossFit Games.
I think everyone's a little beat up, but you just can't let your mind win. I was just telling them down there that if you let your mind get the best of you today, you're not going to perform, but we train like this screwed up all the time, so it's nothing out of routine for all of us.
How do you feel about the last two events?
Gotta beat this guy right here. That's how I feel.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's fast. Thank you.
So I feel like you were one of the athletes a lot of people were sleeping on.
I don't know. I haven't got my breath to answer that properly, but just years of practice, I guess.
Did you think you'd be top 10?
I didn't know where I'd be. Like you, we obviously have an idea of where we'd like to be, but it all doesn't matter. It's just how well we execute in the events.
How do you feel about how the weekend's been going?
Yeah, ups and downs, almost like most competitions. And thank you. And yeah, just how we move on from wins and when things also don't go as well.
How do you feel about the final two events?
Yeah, like him. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to go recover and get ready for them.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we just finished up event 8, and the leaderboard on the women's side looks a little bit different, but very similar. Tia-Clair Toomey has officially done what she always does and has more points than an event allows ahead of the next player, meaning that in each event you can get 100 points. Tia is more than 100 points ahead of the second place athlete. Tia won that event easily. Like, she was way ahead of the field. I believe she finished 30 plus seconds ahead of the second place athlete who was in the heat before her. So it wasn't even racing her down. It was another proven athlete, Grace Walton. Tia finished that event in 8:51. Like, she was on the yoke carry. No one else was even around because she was that far ahead. And then she had time to bike before anyone else got to the bike. So she is now at 710 points. That puts her 130 points ahead of second place, Lucy Campbell. And Lucy Campbell struggled a little bit on that event. She was actually the second to last person to finish in her heat, but she was the last person to get to the bike by quite a bit. She hasn't done a lot of handstand push-ups since her wrist injury. It puts a lot of pressure on that wrist. So deficit handstand push-ups like this, she hasn't done a lot of that in the last 2 years. So she was a little bit behind on that part, but she carried that yoke and really hit the gas pedal on that bike to be able to come in second to last as opposed to last in the heat, but only 17th. So it wasn't as bad of a hit as it looked while watching the heat. You have to think about that first heat where she beat most of the athletes in that heat, even finishing second to last in the top heat. So damage control event for sure for Lucy Campbell. Could have been a lot more damage than that. It wasn't even her worst event. Her worst event was still the 1 rep max back squat where she finished 23rd. But again, we thought that was going to be a bad event for her. In third overall, we have a new athlete. Well, someone who's been in third this weekend already, I believe, but new to this position as of today. And that is Amy Kringle. She finished 4th on the handstand push-up event, moving herself up. Ariel Lowen during that event just kind of felt like she wasn't there. Like I wasn't watching her as much. She ended up finishing 12th overall. Just didn't do anything special there and pushed her from 3rd to 4th, and she's behind 3rd by 23 points. So now she has a gap to overcome if she wants to get back into that 3rd place position. And right behind her, only 5 points behind her, is Madeline Sturt, who finished 10th in that event, picking up some points on Ariel. And she's in striking distance of that podium. She's only 28 points back from Amy Kringle and 73 points out from Lucy Campbell. That's unlikely with only 200 points left, but not impossible. I mean, Lucy didn't get a lot of points in this last event, so you never know. Unlikely though. But Amy Kringle, Ariel Lowen, Madeline Sturt, maybe even Miriam Von Rohr and Olivia Kerstetter are all in the battle for that 3rd place position, and possibly Danielle Brandon if she did something insane. Danielle Brandon, she's in 8th. Claudia Gluck fell to 9th. She had an 18th place finish in that event. She was the last person in the heat that Lucy Campbell beat out at the very end on that bike. Lucy McGonigal, she is in 10th. And then Lydia Fish is in your 11th. A couple other athletes moved up slightly. Abigail Domit, Alexis Raptis, Brooke Wells. They sit in that 12th, 13th, 14th position. Grace Walton in 15th. 16th is Annika Greer, and Fisa Goffi is down to 17th, and Haley Adams down to 18th. Let's go over to the men's side, where we still definitely have a race for some of those podium positions. Jayson Hopper did what he needed to do in this event. He didn't win it, came close. He finished in 2nd place. But the athlete that did win it, Austin Hatfield, was quite a bit back from him. So losing a little ground to Austin Hatfield, not a big deal when you have as much of a cushion over that athlete as Jayson Hopper happened to have. So Jayson Hopper is at 6:35. He's in 1st after taking a 2nd place finish in Going Dark. Ricky Garard finished 4th, so not bad for him. He is at 6:17. So the space between those two athletes has grown a bit, but not that much. Ricky did not surrender too many more points to Jayson Hopper, but he can't just do that. He can't come in close to Jayson. He's gonna have to beat Jayson if he wants to actually dethrone him. Jayson Hopper's looking really good to win these games. I'm surprised. I doubted him. James Sprague is sitting in your 3rd place position. He has 592 points. He's still sort of within striking distance, the top of the podium, but Jayson would have to have some sort of really poor finish, and it would have to be a great workout for James. I'm just not sure we're gonna see that because Jayson has looked so good this weekend. Surprisingly good. But maybe this is what he's been working for all year. I mean, they've all been working for this all year, but maybe he's been working on, I think, between the ears, the thing that he needs to dial in, and really filling in all of those gaps and putting it all together this weekend. Super impressive. But James Sprague, your current reigning fittest man on earth, sitting in 3rd, which is a very solid position for him. And he has a 6-point lead over Jay Crouch, who is in 4th. He had a decent finish on that last event. He finished in 6th. After him, we've got Dallin Pepper, who he finished in 5th in Going Dark. Austin Hatfield is in 6th now. Like I said, he won the event. He had time to basically just walk in at the end. He had a healthy margin over the rest of the field. I was pretty impressed by just all the space he created, especially being a smaller athlete and having something like the bike, which makes it difficult. Someone like Colton Mertens, I watched earlier, struggle on the bike, just lose ground on it. He couldn't keep up with the big, tall guys. Austin Hatfield, not a big guy either, but big enough to compete, and he did create enough space on those handstand push-ups that even if he did lose a little time on the bike, it wasn't enough to Jayson Hopper, who's right on the bike. It wasn't enough for Jayson Hopper to actually catch it because he had like a 20-25 calorie lead, which is substantial. After that, we have Roman Kranikov sitting in 7th. The crowd always goes wild when he comes out. I need to get a clip of it. I keep on forgetting. I haven't done that yet, but they cheer and cheer for Roman Kranikov. He's definitely a favorite of the people. 8th is Justin Medeiros. That was his worst finish of the weekend. He has been the picture of consistency and didn't look like that in this event. He finished 23rd. He was one of the last ones on the bike in his heat. He just didn't look as strong in this event. Jeffrey Adler is in 9th. I feel like he's just not in it to win it this year. I don't know. That's just my perspective from watching him on the field. He doesn't seem to have that aggression that a lot of these brute boys that we see near the top and Ricky have. Like, he just doesn't seem like he wants to go for it in the way to just like die for points, where it looks like these other guys, they would die for points. Harry Lightfoot maintains your 10th place position. He has 457 points, just ahead of Colton Mertens at 434. So 20-ish, 23 points ahead of Colton Mertens, holding down that last top 10 position going into the second to last event. Other than that, those are really the names we've talked about all weekend that we thought were going to be in the top 10, and they're doing it. So all the athletes we expected to perform on the men's side are really performing. Women's side's a little bit different. We have event 9. I don't have that many fingers. I mean, I do. 9. We have event 9 coming up, and we'll see if we see some more shifting, especially on the men's side and that 3rd place position on the women's side.
Stand by.
Minus the pegboard workout. I think I got unlucky with the lane I was in and stuff, because that should have been a pretty good workout for me, but honestly it's been really good. It's probably one of the most fun comps I've ever had the experiences, so it's been class. Yeah.
Top 10 in the women right now overall. Mm-hmm. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, to be honest. I don't think I can really comprehend it. Like I was saying earlier, normally whenever at semi-finals I'm not even in the last heats, apart from this year. So to be in the last heats in the games is kind of like what's going on, but no, it's been really, really good.
This is year 1. Is it going to be year 1 of many?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's awesome. It's definitely my best heat so far. So yeah, just enjoying it and just giving it my all. One more event to go.
So anything you're going to do in that final event?
We'll have to wait and see. I like rope climb, so I'm happy to see them pop up.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll start with the women's field, and Tia is doing something that we've seen Laura actually do a whole ton, and that is like win everything on the last day. Although Tia doesn't need to do it to get on the podium like we've seen Laura do it in the past. Laura Horvath not here this year. She did not participate in the CrossFit season, but Tia-Clair Toomey won event 8, the first event of day 3, event 9, and probably going to go for that three-peat. At least I imagine she'll try. We'll see. She has those 2 first-place finishes, which has now put her at a 174-point lead over Lucy Campbell. So really stretching that. So much so that she doesn't have to do this final event. She could just sit out. I don't think you're allowed to do that. I think there's like a minimum work requirement. But technically, she could sit out and still win the games. But she wouldn't do that to the audience either. We need to see her win in a dominant fashion, which it felt close during the weekend, but I think at the end of this, when we look at it and see that she's likely going to win by 200 plus points, possibly, very possibly going to win by 200 points, that it wasn't that close. It feels close in moments, but then at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, not that close. The men's side will definitely be close. So we have Lucy Campbell holding down that 2nd place position. She finished 12th. in the Running Isabel event. Needed to have Isabel at the games because we've done Isabel so many times already. Ariel Lowen has moved into that 3rd place position. She had a 6th place position on Running Isabel. And Madeline Sturt in the 4th place position. She was 7th. Olivia Kerstetter has moved into 5th. She finished 5th in Running Isabel. And Amy Kringle took a bit of a fall. She is now in 6th place. I don't think she's gonna make it onto the podium. She got a 16th in Running Isabel. Danielle Brandon moved up a little bit. She's in 7th now. Miriam Von Boer, 8th. 9th is Abigail Domit, worked herself into the top heat. And finally, rounding out that top heat is Lucy McGonigal. Alexis Raptis has made her way into 11th position as well. So she could possibly be in the top 10 by the end of the weekend, but that's about as good as she can hope to do. For that race, for that 3rd place position, it's really between Ariel Lowen, Madeline Sturt. There's just 9 points between those two. I would say those are the only two. Olivia Kerstetter is, I guess, only 5 points behind Madeline Sturt, but I don't think that the other 2 athletes, Ariel Lowen and Maddie Sturt, are going to fall enough to let her close that gap. But on technicality, I guess, Ariel Lowen, Maddie Sturt, Olivia Kerstetter, Amy Kringle, and Danielle Brandon, and Marianne Von Rohr have a prayer of ending up on the podium. Everyone else, out of it. Quick pizza break. There is very little time between these 2 events. Let's take a look at the men's leaderboard. Jayson Hopper still maintains a 1st place position, but he took an 11th on Running Isabel, so that really hurt him. He has 695 points. Ricky Garard still in 2nd. He took an 8th in Running Isabel, so he has 689 points. So just a 6 points difference between Ricky and Jayson. And then in 3rd, Austin Hatfield, with 2 wins on day 3, has propelled himself into that 3rd place position. Not what I was expecting when I opened up the app, but very impressed with Austin, winning 2 in a row, just like Tia did. We've seen the same winners on both the female and male side all day. We'll see if that continues, but he has a 5-point lead over Dallin Pepper, who is in 4th place. So all of this, very tight. 6 points, then there's 7 points, then 5 points. And 1 point behind Dallin is James Sprague, who took a 5th place in Running Isabel. The scores are just so tight. A lot of these people don't have bad finishes. There's just people finishing better, and the numbers are just so small. Jay Crouch is in 6th. 7th is Roman Krenikov. 8th is Justin Medeiros. Today has not been his best day. He has a 23rd and a 12th, just not great finishes, and he's looked like he's been lagging behind in his heats. Jeff Adler maintains that 9th place position. He finished 6th in Running Isabel. Tudor Magda's moved his way up into the top heat. He is 10th, but he is tied for 10th with Harry Lightfoot. I believe Tudor will be the one in the final heat, it appears, based on the leaderboard, and Harry Lightfoot will be back in the 2nd heat with Colton Mertens, who's still in that 11th place position. Last event's about to get started.
I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just so by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. A foreigner in the sport, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones.
than that.
Yourself and your ability over the last 3 days?
I think, one thing I learned is I still love competing, and I don't think that will ever disappear, and it's freaking hard to retire. So I apologize for, retiring and coming back and retiring and coming back. But honestly, we've all been through so much as a community, and thank you so much to everyone that's, stuck with us through this whole thing, given us a platform to be able to do what we love. Thank you to Dave and his whole CrossFit Games team. I'm
not going to ask you about your future, but I'm curious, as we look ahead to the future of this sport, how's Willow's air squat?
Willow, she's got an ancient gene in her, man. Come on, she is got the best squat in the world.
We'll watch out for that at the 2045 CrossFit Games. Tia, congratulations. Again, the most dominant CrossFit athlete of all time. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You hope so, but again, our goal for her was top 10. That would have been an improvement over what she did 2 years ago when she was at the games. So, personally, I thought she has podium potential in the future. I honestly wasn't sure if she was ready this year, but obviously, yes, she is. At the end of the day, it just came down. She executed when she needed to most. She showed up on game day in the events where a couple seconds mattered a lot. She put everything out there and got what she needed. So, that's the difference between podium and not. So, she earned every bit of it.
Were you worried that you went out too hot on that last event?
The plan was we're going to go for the podium or die trying. So, at the end of the day, she did exactly what we planned to. Admittedly, I was having some nerves, but, after watching her march through the workout, I was like, oh, she looks in control. She knows what she's doing. So, once she was through the set of 5 rope climbs, I felt good. I was like, okay, we're in a good place. She's good. And I felt a little bit more relaxed, but, that was awesome.
Build upon it next year?
I hope she believes she can too. That's the biggest thing. I know she can, but her, she's young. It's the self-belief, and I hope that standing on the podium gives her some more of that. So, yes.
That was a really great CrossFit Games weekend, and I have a flight at 7. It's 5:10. Will I make it? Stay tuned. Okay, as you can see, I've made it to the airport, and I am going to record this in the middle of the airport because I want to edit this, get this all out to you. It's an airport recap, and I think I can hear a plane. I don't know if all of you can hear a plane. So let's talk about what happened. And this was probably the most exciting men's field I have seen in a long time, maybe one of the most exciting men's fields ever. It was just a battle all weekend, and there were many, many guys in the race. There were 6, 7, 8 guys who were fighting for that top position. Jayson Hopper did end up becoming your fittest man on earth, and I am going to give him his flowers. I doubted him prior to the games, but now I am aboard the Jayson Hopper train. I was very impressed with him all weekend. I did think he was going to win going into today. Another content creator asked me on our way into the second to last event if I thought it was going to be Jayson Hopper. Well, he asked who I thought it was going to be, and I said Jayson Hopper, and he told me he thought it was going to be James Sprague. But you know what? I was back in Hopper. I believed in Hopper. He's my boy now. No, I don't know. But I thought I was very impressed with him all weekend. And although it was close, he was the one who wore the leader jersey more than anyone else. So that was super impressive in a really, really tough competitive field. In second, we had Ricky Garard. So Ricky Garard took 5th in the final event, maintaining his second place position. But it was close. James Sprague was sneaking up on him. Austin Hatfield had 2 wins in a row. And Ricky gets to be on the podium again, although he wasn't super happy about it. It's funny. Second place is one of those places that can be difficult for some athletes. You were so close to getting first, and you didn't quite do it. And after the event was over, when Ricky was being interviewed, he did admit, like, this stung and that he was a little bit disappointed, which, you know, is fair. It was, like I said, a battle all weekend, so he was in the mix to win the games, and he didn't do it. But second's pretty good, too. He's been on the podium once, maybe twice before, depending on how you look at it. But he's had some success. He's been around this area. He just hasn't taken that top spot and didn't do it again this year. In third was James Sprague, and I think he should be super happy with this. A lot of people were questioning his win last year and if he deserved it, and I think coming in and podiuming a second year in a row in a more complete games is proof that he did deserve to win last year and that he is one of the fittest men in the men's field right now. And he was just 1 point behind Ricky. So James finished second overall in Atlas. Ricky finished 5th. So James did make up some ground and just 1 spot away from that second place position. And Jayson Hopper was only about 14 points ahead of Ricky Garard. So I mean 15 points ahead of James Sprague, all really, really tight. Now your first man right off the podium was Dallin Pepper, and you could see it was rough for him to end up there. He had a tough weekend, sort of had to battle back. He was in that second heat a few times, and he got really close to making it back onto the podium for a second year in a row, and he just didn't quite make it. His coach, Matt Torres, was standing nearby me, and I saw Dallin come in for a hug, and they were emotional. I think it's tough. That 4th place is kind of like that second place. It's just a tough place to be. Third, you're very excited because you just made that podium, usually, psychologically, from a psychological perspective. But that 4th, you just missed it. That second, you just missed first. Those are some hard positions despite having a lot of success. In 5th, we had Austin Hatfield. Now, Austin Hatfield came into this event in 3rd place overall. He was close to being on the podium, and that was definitely his goal after coming in last year and finishing 10th in his rookie season. He, had goals of winning the games. I think he can still have goals of that. I think that's still within reach for Austin Hatfield, but didn't happen this year. He had 2 back-to-back first place finishes to start off the day, but finished with a 10th in Atlas, which just didn't put him quite high enough to get onto the podium in his second year in his sophomore season. In 6th, we had Jay Crouch, who wore the leader jerseys for a little bit, but didn't do quite enough to get on the podium this year. Justin Medeiros made it into 7th. He had a little bit of a rough final day with a 23rd, then a 12th, but then he won that final event, just sneaking in ahead of Jayson Hopper. I do think that people sort of missed that a little bit because people were so focused on Hopper that they didn't see him sneak in or weren't paying as much attention to who actually won the event because they saw Hopper doing enough to win the event. But good end to the weekend for Justin. I think it's really great to see him back in the top 10. He won 2 games and kind of had slipped back a bit, but now back as a contender for the podium. In 8th, you had Jeff Adler, and he didn't do quite as well as I think he wanted to do. So he seemed not in it for a part of the weekend as soon as he started to slip into a place where he was unlikely to make it on the podium. And after the final event, it looked like he tried to leave the floor before the athletes were allowed to, and athlete control was like running him down. He seemed upset and not wanting to have any part of the after celebration. But I could be wrong. That's just what I gathered from that moment. In ninth, we have someone who felt the opposite way, it seems like, Roman Krennikov, who seemed to be having a ton of fun all weekend. Everyone was cheering for him. And the vibes are good for Roman, and I think people are really supportive of Roman, and that's always cool to see. He gets some of the biggest cheers in the arena. In 10th, we had Tudor Magda, who wasn't in the top 10 for most of the weekend, but made his way there for when it mattered the most at the end. So that's a great finish for him. In 11th, Harry Lightfoot, who was in the top 10 for a lot of the weekend, just fell out of it for the end. And Colton Mertens finished in 12th. A lot of those athletes are the athletes we expected to be in the top 10. Now the order was questionable, right? Like there were a lot of ways you could order all those athletes, but those were the athletes we expected to be in that top half of the field, and pretty much all of them did as we expected and ended up in the top, and no one really disappointed. Some people might have been disappointed, some people may have wanted more, but I think most of these athletes should be happy with where they ended up, because they all ended up in good spots in a tremendously competitive field. Let's go on to the women. So in first place overall on the women's side is who you would expect, Tia-Clair Toomey, winning her 8th CrossFit Games. And that moment was still epic. Like, it's just seeing greatness and seeing the best to ever do it. And that's such a privilege. I know some people have said they're bored with seeing her win all the time, but I think it adds excitement. Like that moment we had on Saturday when Lucy Campbell beat her, when Lucy Campbell sort of pushed Tia and pushed Tia beyond what she was able to do, sort of encouraged Tia to do that rep before she was ready, and Tia failed it. That moment when the crowd just cheers and all gets behind her, behind Lucy, that's because of Tia. That's because of Tia's greatness. That's because we usually don't see people challenge her. And her being there gives us those great moments. And I think we have to appreciate that. Like, we have to appreciate greatness when we're seeing it. And she talked a little bit about how it's been so hard for her to retire. And from what I'm gathering, I don't think she's retiring yet. She definitely wasn't ready to commit to that on the floor, and she apologized for saying she was going to retire multiple times and not doing it. I think we're going to see Tia-Clair Toomey back again. I think she's going to go for 10. I think it'll be hard to ever beat. It's setting a bar that's impossible, I think, especially with the growth of the sport. She already may have done that, but she can really solidify it if she goes for 10. And 10's such a cool number, right? I think we're going to see Tia back again. That's my prediction at 6:15 on August 3rd, 2025. Tia-Clair Toomey is going to continue and go for 10. Okay, moving on to your second place athlete, and that is Lucy Campbell. And I think she should be so proud of herself. I had her finishing 4th, and like I battled with putting her on the podium, but I'm thinking in my head, she's been to the games once, she finished middle of the pack. Why would I put her in the top 3? Her performances this year have been incredible. She won Wadapalooza against Laurel Horvath, the winner of the 2023 CrossFit Games. But maybe that's because Wadapalooza isn't the games. She also won her semifinal, but again, that European semifinal wasn't as strong as some of the other ones. So I put her in 4th. But she came and showed that it was no fluke, that she used the last 2 years of being injured and not being able to get back to the games and not being able to compete. She used that to work on all of her holes. She's gotten stronger, and she's definitely worked on it between the ears, you know? She's worked on her head game, and she feels comfortable challenging Tia, which some athletes don't, and she'll go toe-to-toe with her. And I'm excited to see Lucy Campbell again next year. I think she exceeded her expectations, but I think we should all expect a lot from her from now on. She was still almost 200 points behind Tia, but I mean, that's basically first place. If you come in second to Tia, I mean, that's first, right? Among your peers, because Tia is not really your peer. She's a god. In 3rd was like a child, Olivia Kerstetter. It was her 2nd year at the games. She didn't make it last year. She failed to make it, comes back, is barely a college student, but she is actually a college student. She does go to college. She's just very young, and she comes in third. And even her coach said that they didn't really expect that this year. They expect her to have that potential long term, but she's 20 years old, so they didn't think that that was now, or maybe she's 19. She's like 19 or 20 years old, and she podiumed. She did what she had to do in that last event. Speaking of the last event, she came in first in the final event. She went out hot, stayed hot, and took a pretty big win. That's what gave her this spot on the podium. Now, I don't know if she had to win it to get it, if you look at the point spread, but she did what she had to do, right? That was what was in her control. That's all that she could do, was win it and take all the points and make sure everyone around her got less. And she did that. Tia in that workout came in third. Lucy Campbell came in fifth, which is solid. She had a pretty healthy lead, so it wasn't like she needed to do super well in that event. But still, I thought she wouldn't do as well as she did. Now let's go to your fourth place athlete. That is Danielle Brandon. She took that second place position in the workout. She moved herself up, I believe, from 7th to 4th. She's been 4th at the games before. I wonder if that frustrates her, but I think that's still a great finish. I mean, this was a battle too. This third place position was a battle. Olivia Kerstetter was never in third prior to the final event. Danielle Brandon was never this high up prior to this event. So really solid end of the weekend for all the people we see up here. Ariel Lowen, she was in that third place position and lost it in Atlas. She ended up finishing 17th in that event, just too far out to even keep 4th, falling all the way down to 5th. I believe that is actually where I predicted her to finish, though. Maybe 6th, 5th or 6th. So it's what I thought, but has to be a disappointing end to the weekend for Ariel. Madeline Sturt fell a bit too. I believe she was 5th. She went down to, or maybe she was 4th, and she went down to 6th with a 14th finish in Atlas. Miriam Von Rohr moved up a little bit. She finished 7th, but she did take a 20th in Atlas, but I do believe she was actually in 8th prior to this event, so there was just a lot of moving around. Amy Kringle finished in 8th. She took a 27th in that final event and ended up in 8th. I knew that was going to be a tough one for her. She had a really great weekend, was in a podium position for a lot of it, but ended on one of her most difficult workouts, and tough end to the weekend for her. But the next two people below her actually had really great ends. Annika Greer won her heat, came in 4th overall in Atlas, and ended up top 10 as a rookie. She is in 9th. And Alexis Raptis battled her way up despite her injury, despite her herniated disc. She made it up to 10th place, which I think she should be really proud of under the circumstances. That's a solid finish. Lucy McGonigal fell to 11th. Abigail Domit fell to 12th. Lydia Fish ended the weekend in 13th. I think she should be super proud of that. She got in through the last chance qualifier, didn't expect to be here, was in a podium position at one point, was in that top heat for day 2, and ends up in the top half of the competition. I think she should plan to get back next year. I know she works and does other things, but maybe there's reason to focus more on the CrossFit. A couple people we didn't expect to be as low as they were. Brooke Wells finished in 16th. They did have a nice tribute video to her for her final games. You could see that she was emotional. This was it, and she, it seems like, at least enjoyed herself, even if the leaderboard didn't have her as a top position. Fisa Gaffi finished in 17th. I also think she definitely enjoyed herself at this competition. Hilly Adams finished in 19th. That's, I believe, her worst games finish ever. She just didn't look quite as competitive as she has in the past. I don't really know what to say about that. I'm surprised. I think a lot of people are surprised. She just didn't look like the Haley of the past. Maybe something's going on. Maybe just an off weekend. People have off weekends, and that happens too. and you only get one weekend. So that's it. That's the end of the 2025 CrossFit Games. It was a lot of fun. It was, I think, what the community needed after last year. People seem to be really into it. On Sunday, for those final events, the stadium was very, very full. The crowd was electric, very excited. I am leaving this Games with a very positive feeling, and I'm hoping that continues, especially with the sale of CrossFit likely happening soon. I hope we're heading in a good direction. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. And I'm sure Carson, my pup, will be back too. So if you're new and you haven't met him yet, he's cute. All right, see you in the next one.